Hi, I'm Richard Sirlentine, anchor for Africa Edition. I'm the owner of Phenoms Basketball Club South Africa. I started this ball club in the middle of last year, and my aim was to make a difference, to be the premier basketball team in South Africa, to be the #1 brand in basketball in South Africa. Well, I was born in Nigeria, and I was raised in the United States for the early part of my life. I later went back to Nigeria, had a formal university education, and then started life in South Africa with the purposes of being a big television star in some way. And I ended up in ETV, to cut a long story short. And I started with ETV about 3.5 years ago, and they've been very supportive in my development of this project, as well as they sponsored our initial uniforms. And with their support, hopefully we can bring a bigger spotlight to the game of basketball in South Africa. Well, our team is called the Phenoms, and if you look up the word Phenoms in the dictionary, it means extraordinary, it means outstanding, something very distinct. That's what we want to represent from our players, from our conduct on the basketball court and our conduct off the basketball court. So it's a befitting name for what it is that we stand for. Phenoms Basketball Club South Africa is supported by Drug-Free World. That's the cause that we support, because we believe in making a difference in people's lives. And drugs has become a major problem in all societies. And not only are we going to play basketball, but we're going to put the first line of defense against hard drugs and destructive drugs by the process of education. And that's why we work with Drug-Free World. We intend to go to communities, not only teaching them basketball, not only developing basketball, but developing their minds as well, and also developing high moral conduct when it comes to the use of drugs.
Well, education is the most powerful tool when it comes to drug abuse and drug education. The thing is, it's not necessarily the dealer that's the problem, it's the market that's the problem. And if we don't educate our youth about how dangerous the drugs really are, because drugs are essentially poison. A little bit of it will speed you up, a little bit more will make you sleepy, and too much effectively kills you. Now, kids today don't actually know that drugs are poisonous, and it really can damage, not just damage your life, it can destroy your dreams. And that's what we're trying to advocate and also teach young people.
Well, I reached out to Drug-Free World because I wanted to find a way I can make a difference in young people's lives. I believe in efficiency. I believe in achieving goals. I believe in productivity. And I like to see that not only in myself, but I like to see that in the youth. And one of the major factors that is hampering development among youth in Africa and across the world is drugs. It affects your efficiency, your productivity, and your outlook on life. And the most important line that stuck to me is, catch them young. The children are the future. If we could prevent kids from getting into drugs before the age of 21, the chances of them ever getting into drugs would be very slim. So that's why I felt the best way to improve productivity in children and in the youth was to conquer the drug problem first.
Well, the pairing, I think, was definitely a match made in heaven, because he found Drug-Free World, loved the program, and also the benefits of having the ability to access to youth, to give them the education that's needed on drug awareness. As you know, drug awareness is a big social problem in this country. And when we got together, we just had a chat, what the program is about, and Rick and the Phenoms said, you know what, let's do this, because they really want to go out there and make a difference. And it's quite unusual for a bunch of young people from a basketball team standing up for something that's really special, and that's for educating people on drug-free living.
I'm the sole owner of Phenoms Basketball South Africa. Our intention is to become a professional ball club and play in the professional basketball league, and we're working towards that every day. And so far, so good. I got my team, first of all, I looked for character. I looked for loyalty, I looked for discipline, and of course I looked for ability. A lot of my teammates are people who I've played with over the last 10 years or so. Some of them are playing in professional leagues. and I rounded them up and made them part of the Phenoms. For a team that was just put together in a matter of months. We did extremely well last weekend. We had a tournament and we reached the semifinals and we played against the best team in the country. That's the Twane Suns, and we gave them a run for their money. And we did eventually lose by a few points, but it was encouraging. We made it all the way to the semifinals in our first tournament. Right now we're playing in the ICL League. It's just a level below, just one notch below the professional league. All the professional players play in this league. If you would look out behind me, you'd see only professional players who play in the Basketball National League. So it's pretty much the same standard. We're playing a team called Goodfellas, and a team that's established. They've been together for about 7 years. Among their team is a gentleman who has been the South African national basketball captain. So we're playing against some pretty experienced people today. You know, when you look at major franchises in the United States like the Los Angeles Lakers, the New York Knicks, the Miami Heat, I would like the Phenoms to become a major basketball brand of that category. I want us to be playing in Europe, playing into Africa, playing exhibition games all over the world. That's the aim that I have for Phenoms Basketball South Africa. Reaching out to the youth is an ongoing process. It's getting better as we work with it. Our major goal is to work with large communities. But before we get to that very large platform, we're going to start with the kids that are playing basketball in schools, high schools, and of course the league which I belong to. So we're going to start at home first, then we're going to reach out to the greater community at large.